Hello everybody, my name is Mike Geig, and in this video we're going to look at the fourth part of my mini-series on object-oriented game development. Okay, again, just coming in right where we left off in part 3, so if you can follow along in part 3, you will have all the source code you need. We ended part 3 having added our H files here and my spaceship. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what's going to happen. We are going to have our spaceship so we can do our spaceship-related things. Alright, but we are also going to have a list of game objects. Okay, and this list is going to act like kind of like a little engine, a little manager for us. And anything we throw into this list will automatically update, automatically render, and at the end of the game will automatically be destroyed. Alright, it's going to be a very powerful feature. That's what's going to make this so great. It's going to make this inheritance scheme work so well for us. Okay. First, I'm going to go ahead and get my ship up and running, and then I'm going to worry about putting the rest of that stuff in. Alright, so I'm going to come down here to my project variables, and I'm simply going to say ship equals new ship. Oh, not sip, ship. There we go. Just like that. Great. Oh, not ship, spaceship. There we go. I wondered why I was getting a weird message there. Ship equals new spaceship. Fantastic. And I'm going to go ahead and give myself an Allegro image variable. It's going to be Allegro bitmap. And it's going to be ship image. So equal null. Awesome. Alright. Now I can come down here to my project init area. And I can go ahead and, where am I at here? There we go. Okay. And I can say ship image equals al load bitmap, and my bitmap is going to be, I'm just going to copy this from my notes here, just like that. Go. And then I'm going to say al convert mask to alpha, and I'm going to say ship image, and my mask color is going to be al map RGB, and 255 0 255. Alright. And now that I have that, I can say ship. Remember, it's going to be this arrow instead of a dot because we're using pointers, a init. And my init takes an image. Luckily, I'm going to pass in an image, ship image. Great, so far so good. That's going to handle my ship for me there. And we can come down even further here, and we can go ahead and handle my movement inside the updating. This is going to look pretty familiar from the previous series where I handled this. I'm going to say if keys sub up, then we are going to do ship move up. Else if keys sub down, then ship move down. Else ship, and that's going to be reset animation and 1. So that means if we're not moving up or not moving down, let's stabilize ourselves there. And then I'm going to say if keys left, then ship move left. Else if keys right, ship, oh, not dot, move right. Else ship reset animation 0. Now note how when I'm in the class, I can just call these things directly. Outside of the class, I've got to refer to the pointer, the line and arrow, and use the ship object to use these things. Remember, originally I said you had to create an object to utilize this functionality? We did. We called it ship, and now we're using its functionality. Alright. I'm not going to update my ship, and I'm not going to render my ship here. Okay? Because there's going to be another better way to handle this. I'm not, like I said, not going to update it, not going to render it. I'm going to take a step further. I'm not even going to delete it. Okay? I know that You know, this is not me forgetting to delete it. I'm choosing not to delete it at this point because there's a better way. And now I'm going to show you this better way. So as far as my ship goes, I'm done with it. All right, we're going to find a better way to handle this. Okay, and that better way is using the list I've been talking about. So let's go ahead and now I'm going to show you how to create it. All right, so it's going to be std list. All right, and it's going to be of type game object pointer. All right, and we're going to call it objects. Now, objects is going to be a collection. It's going to be kind of like an array. All right, it's going to have more. It's going to be a dynamic, effectively a dynamic array. It's going to be an array of objects that I can just keep dumping stuff into and pulling stuff out of, and it's fine. It's what it's meant for. All right. To go through these arrays, we can't just do like a for int I. Right? We need to use iterators. Iterators will make this much easier. An iterator is a special object type that is made to iterate through a list. So I'm going to do std list game object asterisk double colon iterator, and I'm going to name it iter or iter. Alright, I'm actually going to copy this. I want 2 iterators. The reason is for collision detection I want to be able to loop through like essentially having 2 loops, 2 for loops, so I need 2 iterators for that, so I'll declare them right here. Alright, so this is going to be the massive engine that churns our work out for us without all that much difficulty. All right. So once that's in place, everything else gets a little bit easier. First thing I want to do is I want to put the ship into my objects list, and the reason I want to do this, okay, there's a very specific reason I want to do this. The reason is I will not have to update my ship, I will not have to render my ship, and I will not have to delete my ship. Alright? By iterating through this objects list, it's going to do it for me. Alright? And the cool thing is this, is that I can quote unquote have my cake and eat it too. I can have the best of both worlds, because when I want to do bulk operations like my update, my render, my delete, and destroy, I can use my objects list, and when I want to do special things with my ship only, I still have my ship handled. Right? Since they're pointers, they point to the same memory address. They're not 2 separate objects, right? They're the same thing. I just have 2 handles. I have 2 ways to get to it, all right? So once my ship image or my ship is initialized, after I initialize my ship, I'm just going to do objects dot push back. I'm going to basically put the ship into my list, put it in the back of my list. Since there's nothing else in my list, that's great. That's exactly what I want. All right. Now, like I said before, I don't necessarily want to update my ship specifically. I'm going to update all objects. So I'm just going to put a little comment here letting me know that this is my update section. And I'm going to say for, and I'm going to say iter equals objects dot begin. Alright, and I'm going to say iter does not equal objects dot end. And then I'm going to say plus iter. Alright. Great. And now, actually I don't even need those brackets. I'm simply going to say, this is how you have to say it. This is the syntax here. So you're just going to have to do it like this. Alright. So it's parenthesis, asterisk, iter, parenthesis. And when you write it this way, iter becomes the object we're looking at. Alright. So this is my spaceship, right? It is the memory of my spaceship. So I'm going to do, you'll see all the things my spaceship can do now. Well, not necessarily, because it's treating it as a game object. And I'm going to say update. All right. So there's that. That works out for me there. Getting an error here. And the error is that begin is a method. So there we go. There we go. Sorry about that. Begin and end are methods, so you have to have the parentheses there. Awesome. So we have that, and then come down to my render here. And my render is simply going to say for iter equal objects dot begin. Iter does not equal objects dot end plus iter. And then I'm going to say parenthesis asterisk iter render, just like that. And finally, where it comes time to destroy objects, I'm going to basically loop through once again. I'm going to say for iter equals objects.begin. Iter does not equal objects.end plus plus iter. And in here, I'm going to go ahead and say iter. I'm going to call the destroy method, destroy, and then I'm going to use the C++ command delete iter. Oh, not 8 liter, but iter. There we go. That's going to free up the memory for the object itself. So this is going to free up the memory for everything inside of the object. This is going to free up the memory for the object itself. And then I'm going to say iter equals objects.erase. And I'm going to erase iter. And erase is going to remove this instance of iter from the list completely and then return back the index of the next. So I actually made a mistake. I don't need to do plus plus iter. It's going to do that for me. Okay, so no plus plus iter. This is going to keep iter updating to the next object inside here. So by doing this now, I'm pretty slick. I can go ahead and run this, and I've got my ship. And I can move forward, move back, left and right, or up and down, if you will. I've got my bounds checking. My bounds checking is working. There's certain places I can fly, certain places I can't fly. And you'll note I never do ship.update and ship.render. It's being taken care of for me. Okay. And at the end, I don't delete my ship and I don't destroy the bitmap. That once again is all happening for me. Okay. I didn't have to write that code. It's happening when this thing iterates through. Okay. So before I move on to my other objects, my comments, my bullets, my explosions, my background, I'm going to work in my main here a little bit more. We're going to add some more good functionality here. So right here we've got my update. This is going to update all my objects. I'm going to have a section for collisions, and I'll get to that in a second. And then finally a section that I like to call the dead, which means to get rid of what's no longer alive. And this is what's cool with this call the dead section, if you will. As an object goes off screen or becomes dead, like say I shoot a bullet, all right? Bullet gets to the end of the screen. If I set the bullet's alive value to false, it will automatically get deleted. Its memory freed up and deleted from my objects list, which means I can just fire a bullet and then forget about it. I can just fire a bullet and then it goes away when the time comes to go away. I don't have to worry about it at all. I no longer have to check and free up the memory manually. And another great thing about this is, remember in the previous videos where I had an array, the maximum number of shots I could take, and I think it was 5, might have been 10, I don't quite remember. I could only fire 5 or 10 because I was dealing with a statically sized array. I can shoot as many shots as I want. As fast as I can hit that spacebar, now I can fire shots. My list is dynamically sizing, right? It'll get bigger and smaller in real time, and as objects go off the screen, they'll automatically be deleted from this list, and its memory freed up. It's fantastic. All right. So I'm going to say for, and I'm going to say iter equals objects.begin. Oh, that's not objects. That's objects. Objects begin. Iter does not equal objects.end. And I'm not going to increment it. Instead, you'll see it's going to look very similar to what I did down there at the bottom. All right. So I'm going to say if not iter get alive. So if it's not alive, okay. If it's not alive, delete iter. And I'm missing something here. If it's not alive, no, yep, I'm not missing something. I apologize. If it's not, I thought I was missing a destroy, and I'll explain to you in a second why I'm not missing it. And then iter is going to equal objects.erase iter. Okay, and then else iter plus plus. Okay. So basically, we're going to loop through. All of the dead objects will get deleted and will get erased from outside, or get erased from our list. Otherwise, we'll just loop to the next one. All right. The reason I did not do iter and then destroy to destroy and free up memory of the object is because I do not want to destroy the bitmaps. Let's think about it. Let's think of all the comets. The second I destroy one comet, they all share the same bitmap image. If I destroy the image, right, then the rest of them will stop showing up. My game will probably crash. All right. So I don't want to do that. Instead, at the end, it'll all get cleared up for me. All right. So I don't need to worry about it. Great. Okay, and so we're good there. Next, I'm going to worry about my collisions. And the reason I'm putting this code in now is so that when I write the collided method from my other classes, you're going to see, boom, they just work. No other work is needed to be done. And that's pretty darn cool too. So I'm going to say, it's got to look familiar, or iter equals objects.begin, iter not equal objects.end. In this case, I am going to do plus plus iter. First and foremost, if, all right, if not iter collidable. Okay, so that means if it's not alive and it's not collidable. If iter is not collidable, then we're just going to continue. We're going to move on to the next loop. Because if this current object can't collide with things, we don't need to check it. All right. So we'll just continue and get out of there. So then for iter2, this is where iter2 comes in, not enter, but iter2 equals. Iter2 is going to equal the current iter. All right. So that way we're not checking things we've already checked. And then while iter2 does not equal objects.end plus plus iter2. And for here, we're going to say if not iter2 collidable. Can't collide with this object, right? Then we're going to continue. And then otherwise, I'm going to say if iter get ID equals iter2 get ID. All right. If they're the same ID, right, then again we are going to continue. All right, because comets can't collide with comets. All right. Comets can't collide with comets. Bullets can't collide with bullets. If there were more than one ship, ships can't collide with ships. You know, that's just a rule of this game. You know, if you wanted comets to be able to collide with comets, you would obviously take this line out. All right. So this ensures that we can only collide with things that are collidable, and we can only collide with things that aren't the same thing. All right. Then I'm going to say if iter check collisions. Remember this function where you pass in another one. So if we're going to pass in iter2, so we're going to see, do they collide with each other? All right. If they do collide with each other, okay, we're going to say iter collided. All right, and we are going to pass in iter2 get ID. So that's going to tell our first object what the ID of the second object is. It's going to say this is what you collided into, and then iter2 is going to, or collided, we're going to pass in iter get ID, just like that. Oh, I'm missing an I there. There we go. Awesome. So if two objects collide, we're going to call each object's collision or collided method and telling it what it collided with. So let's say let's say iter is a ship and iter2 is a comet. Iter the ship is going to say, you know, ship collided with enemy. And the comet's going to say comet collided with player. And that way we know. All right. Great. So we're not going to handle destroying anything here. We're simply saying, hey, you guys collided with each other. Awesome. All right. And so the rest of the code will be inside the classes and we'll make them work. So let's go ahead and just build this. Okay, great. So once again, still we'll run this and we're moving around. Everything's great. I can't shoot anything yet. There's nothing else. But we've done a lot of work on the front end, and you're going to see it pay off here as we start to program the rest of our classes. So stand by and we'll get to those.